Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Bären here with another Escape from Tarkov video, another tutorial for the very beginners out there. I saw that my flea market video actually has a lot of views, and guide videos and stuff most of the time do pretty well on YouTube. But that means there's a lot of people out there looking for help, looking for information on the game, wanting to know what to do, how to do it, the best way of doing things. Or maybe just getting a glimpse at the game to check out whether or not they want to buy it. Yeah, I'm trying to provide that information because most of the guides out there nowadays are like more advanced level type, my opinion. So I want to try and do a very simple guide, like for people that just started playing the game or want to try and play the game. Like I said, want to buy it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. So the first thing you're gonna see after you created your character, your USIC or bear, it has no influence on your tasks, character progression, whatever. If you're a bear or USIC, the only difference is the appearance. There is skins now. They're different for bears and USICs. A lot of people say the bear skins are way better, but that's totally personal preference, of course, and the voice lines, of course, the taunts you can do in-game. For bears, everything is in Russian, and for USICs, everything's in English, of course. That's the only difference in-game. But yeah, if you get started, that's the menu you're gonna look at. You have your Escape from Tarkov view. That's basically the way you get into raids with your scav or PMC. Then you have a character where you see everything about your character, your progression, whatever. You have the trading point. That's basically your dealers. You can see the levels and stuff. You can go into their menus. You can see the flea market. Flea market is locked till level 5, so you cannot use the flea market until level 5. Then you have a hideout. I'm gonna go into all the points again later on. Of course, your exit button. Then your weapon preset. I think this is unlocked with your first. This is unlocked with your workbench upgrade. So meaning that you have to level up your workbench first until you can do those weapon presets. How these weapon presets work is basically you can have a preset with all the attachments and stuff, and can load that in every time. You have your handbook, basically all the information you have about the items. The messenger. Oh, by the way, a nice little tip. Every time you get a new item, if you find a new item and stuff in raid, there's a little green box up here, and that shows a number. At some point, it's going to be 99. So it means that there's basically a new entry in your handbook. You can just simply click the green box and it goes away. So you don't have to go into your handbook and click all the new items and stuff. Messenger is basically messenger, of course. You get all the messengers from the traders, all your quest items and stuff. And if you write with players, you can see their messages here. A nice little tip right here. You can, for example, basically this menu is free stash space for you, because if you get quest items, you do not have to take them out. They will stay in there forever. So you can just leave them in there. You can take out like a few different items you want to take. For example, if you say I want to use this rig, just put the rig on into your stash and leave the rest. You can just there's a message prompting up telling you if you really want to leave the rest in there. You just say yes. And the thing is, with your insurance returns, I'm going to talk about that later. There is a time to it, meaning, for example, here you see it takes 24 hours, about 24 to 48 hours until your insurance returns come back. And these you have to actually collect within that time, because if you do not, I do have one that I didn't collect because I wasn't here, because it was a weekend or something, and those items basically are gone. You cannot get them. The thing is, you can still leave the quest items in and get just the insurance returns. The way you want to do that is just click the slots and do not click receive all, because if you do that, you don't know what items are basically trader items or quest items that you got as a reward and which are your insurance returns. So if you want to just collect the insurance returns, you always check which one you have to get. So let's say this is 14 hours. I know I'm not going to play tomorrow or something. I have to get it now. So I would have to take all of these items, just sell them or whatever, so I don't lose them. Watch list is not available now, and you have your settings, of course. I don't know if I should say too much about that. It's basically just the way it's personal preference, I guess. The way I do it is set the head bobbing as low as possible, because it's just stupid stuff. The field of view is personal preference, I guess. Your voice lines, your background, it's nothing really there. Again, this comes down to your system. That's the way I have it. Like I said, it's something you have to check out for yourself. The sound, here you can just adjust the volumes and stuff. The hideout volume, I would set down immediately because it's very loud when you're in the hideout. Controls, basically you don't have to change anything. Can I think of something? Oh yeah, what I did is, well, again, you can pretty much do whatever you want here. I don't know how much Tarkov handles like a gamer mouse with a lot of buttons. What I did, for example, is this one is toggle tactical device. That means it's flashlights or laser sights on the weapon. I can toggle that with my mouse button. That is on default is the T button. So I can just, I don't really use that often, but it's something I don't have to, like I have to use my fingers while I'm in fight, you know. Don't have to get rid of WASD. Get off to W. And the other thing I would rebind is, where is it? The discard one. That's basically just throwing away items out of your stash while you're in raid. That is normally the delete button, which is super far away for you to tap. So if you want to chuck some loot on, just rebind it to something. I don't know. It's something good to reach for your left hand, or like I did put it to my mouse. Like I said, I don't know how good Tarkov handles these super crazy gamer mouse buttons. But yeah, that's basically the menu. Alright, let's get into a first point of the menu. That's Escape from Tarkov. That's basically your way into the raid. As a scav, that's the player NPC version. You start with a set of gear. You cannot change that. The gear has most of the times not full durability, which means your vest, your vest is kind of damaged and stuff. Most of the times you do not start with a lot of ammo as well. Sometimes you have meds, sometimes you don't. You sometimes have a backpack. But yeah, this is basically a random set of weapons and gear. But nowadays the gear is actually pretty good as a scav. So it's a nice way of getting free gear basically. But yeah, you can basically do everything as a scav except doing your tasks. Everything you do as a scav is just for gear basically. But the gear you find in raid as a scav counts as found in raid, which means if you, let's say you find a graphics card or something, you can use that for your quests. But yeah, player kills or any kill quests and stuff do not count as a scav. Yeah, let's say you want to play as a scav. You have your map overview, like all the maps that you can play right now. There are already the maps that are not available yet. I think the next one is Streets of Tarkov. The developers are working on that one right now. So that will be the next one that is available. Now, what you can see if you click on one map, let's say you want to play Factory, there's not really much information you can take from this other than the maximum amount of players, which is very important. Because let's say with your PMC, you want to farm players, you need those dog tags or whatever, and you know there's a maximum amount of 6 players on the map. including new, of course, which means if you killed already 5, there's no other player on the map, so you're free to farm the scavs or go to loot places or whatever. And yeah, then we have the timer. Now, factory is an exception. It only has those 2 set timers. They do not change. For the other maps, there is a time running. So you basically always have a daytime and a nighttime. Now, daytimes, it's just the normal runs. You find the most amount of PMCs there because it's easy to see and stuff. The nighttimes is good if you want to do like quests where you have to get in, I don't know, find an item and get out of there, because the scavs do not see you that easy, so it's easier to get to those spots you need to go and get out again. And then you have your weather, which is not that important unless you really don't want to play. If it's raining or something, you say, oh, whatever, I don't want to play if it's raining. I don't know, it's not that important, like I said. But yeah, let's say we want to do factory. Now you can push the ready button, which will bring you right into a screen where you're preparing to join the game. Now, while this stuff is going on, you can always click back. You can always get out of joining the match until it says matching, I think. So there's a lot of loading thingies going on, and then basically the back button will disappear and you cannot get out. That's the same thing with your PMC, by the way. So if you forgot to insure something, forgot to take some mats, whatever. But yeah, you can also go next. Now here would be your map if you bought one, but that's not very important. If you push next again, this is basically you're looking for group screen. So here you can see people that are looking for groups. You can also, by pushing that button, start looking for groups. If you have a friend that is playing, you can look for his name and stuff. But yeah, you can right-click on a name, invite them to your group. And if you push the ready button, you're going to come up to the next screen, like before. And then you basically just start the game, and you're in a raid. Alrighty, now I am going to the PMC screen, because there's nothing gonna change much, except for after you click the next button on your map. This is the screen where you can enable your offline mode. Now, offline mode is very important for super new players, because that's where you can learn your maps and stuff. In this mode, you do not lose your gear. You do not lose ammo. You lose basically nothing. You do not have other PMCs within those raids. Of course, you cannot do offline raids with your friends yet. I'm pretty sure that is going to change in the future. You can just, if you press this button, it means that there's NPCs, the players, the scavs on the map or not. If you want to fight, like test weapons and stuff, you can put the scavs on. If you just want to learn the maps and the extract points, just leave them out, so you can run around the map and stuff. Now, this would be the next screen again, where you're looking for group. If you're not in an offline raid and you're going into a normal raid, this screen is gonna pop up. This is basically the screen where you can insure your items. Everything you have on you, including in the alpha container, I do not have something in there, will be insured. You can just press this button, and it will select everything that can be insured in your inventory. Now there's gonna be a lot of stuff, because I do stack the backpacks in here which are not insured. You can see all this stuff that is going to be insured. And you just press this button and it's gonna insure all the items that are marked. Insurance means that you get these items back if you die in raid, if someone is not looting them, which means if you get killed by a player and he, I don't know, picks up your weapon or something, you're not gonna get that back. You only get the stuff back that will stay in that raid. It's not going to get looted. But yeah, if you insured all your stuff, you can press ready button, and then again you're up in that queuing phase. Alrighty, let's hit the next point. That's the character button, character overview. So you have those 6 points up here you can click through. You're always gonna by default end up in your stash, in your gear slot when you enter the character screen. First of all, we want to look at the thing called overall. That's basically your in-game stats. You see your character with all the gear you have on. You can look at it. You can turn them. You see your survival rate, how many raids you did and stuff. If you already purchased skins, you can change them here. Yeah, you get a little title depending on what you basically do in the raid, how much you kill and stuff. But yeah, the thing you want to look at is maybe your survival rate. At the beginning of the game, your survival rate would be very low. 45 isn't that great. It's not bad. It's, I don't know, it's kind of meh. That rate will go up for sure. The longer you play, the better this rate will get. Now, do not get discouraged if it's really, really low, because you do die a lot in this game, and there's nothing you have to worry about if this is really low. It doesn't, I don't know, doesn't give you a decrease in XP gains or whatever. It's just a number basically. It's something for you to get information from your rates and stuff. But yeah, this is basically all statistics. You can check how many kills you got, how many scavs, how many bears, how many USACs and stuff. You can check your sniping distance kills. But yes, not that much going on here. Then we get to our gear. Now this is basically your stash and all the item slots you can have. Now you can wear earpieces, headwear, the face cover, which is the masks, for example, which you need to wear for quests or just for style purposes, of course. You have your body armor, you have your 2 weapon slots, main weapon slots, your 3rd weapon slot, your offhand, your melee weapon. Now, all these slots are free to loot for everybody except your melee weapon and stuff that's in your alpha container. So only those 2 slots are secure. They cannot be looted after you died. The rest is free for all. You have your armband slot, which is interesting for people that play in a group, for example. You can wear those armbands in different colors to separate yourself from other players. Your body armor, eyewear, that's for sunglasses or anything like that. You have your tactical rigs, that is basically a slot for extra space. Now you do have those rigs with more slots, and you have armored rigs, which are rigs that work as a tactical rig and also as body armor. You cannot wear body armor and a armored rig at the same time. It doesn't let you conflict slot body armor. You have your pockets. That's basically where you put your meds. And you have your backpack. And like I said, your alpha container, that's the stuff that is always secure. Now that's the slot where you want to put in your high valuable items when you find stuff that is very much needed for a quest. Keys. Like, for example, I have this camera I have to place for a quest. I can put that in my container. If I die, I do not lose that. I can use it on next raid. Then we have the stash on the right side. Now, the size of your stash is by default for the standard edition 10 by 26. And depending on what version you have, it's going to be bigger. I already upgraded the stash in the Hideout, which gave me 10 slots more, I think. Not mistaken. But yeah, a few little tips for the stash. If you're very new to the game, you have a lot of items. You chug in there, it's gonna be full like mine, for example. What you want to look out for is the lucky scav box. You want to buy that very soon. That one you get from Therapist level 2. I'm gonna talk about that with the trading point more. Basically everything that acts as a container, for example. Here, this rig takes up 12 slots, 3 by 4, but actually gives me an extra of extra of, let me see, you can right click and push inspect. The container size is 20, which means it gives me 6 slots more. I could have counted it that way, I'm stupid, whatever. But yeah, that way you increase your stash size without needing those cases, for example. You can get those as well, of course. That's an easy way of increasing your stash size. What you want to buy is a ammo case at the start for sure, because ammo is going to take a lot of space. The lucky scav box, like I said. Med case is very valuable too. Yeah. Some little tips here. For example, if you have a... Do I have a weapon? Something like, let's say you have a weapon, you put it out of the raid. What you can do, I mean, you basically already saw what I did. You can take off the mag and the pistol grip. Now you can do this with basically every weapon. And it's gonna give you this whole row of slots. Then you can store it somewhere else. It's a nice little tip. Yeah, you can sort your stash if you're looking for some sort of some type of equipment and you know it's somewhere. You can plug out the rest of it, so you can only see the ones that you're looking for, weapons, magazines and stuff. But yeah, basically before you want to start a raid, down here you see your bindings for the weapons. Depending on what button you push now, you can change those, of course, in the controls. That's the thing you want to get. Now, how you bind the items from your pocket or your tactical rig. By the way, you cannot bind items out of your alpha container or backpack. So that means the things you want to hotkey have to be inside of your pocket or tactical rig. Now, the way you can do that is just by left clicking and holding the item and just drag it down here. Or hover over the item and push the button you want to have it bound to. Let's say you bound your mats to 4, the bandages to 5, and the grenade to 6. Now grenades, you can chuck grenades just by pushing the G button again. They cannot be in your backpack or alpha container. They have to be in the pocket or tactical to throw them. Or you can push the button, then you just prime it and stuff. Yeah, same thing with reloading. The magazines you reload for your guns have to be inside your rig or pockets to reload the gun. So let's get on to the health section. Here you can see the body parts of your PMC. You see your total health, which is 435. Now that number is set for all the characters. You cannot up that number by leveling up your skills or whatever. Your hydration, your energy, all the other numbers are not very important. They do not influence your gameplay, whatever. These two do, by the way. If you get completely dehydrated, you will start losing health over time. Energy, the same thing. Alrighty, the rate to which your hydration and energy is depleting, you can influence that with the skills, but I guess I'm going to talk about that later. Now, talking about the different parts of your body, depending on what gets damaged, actually, while I say that, there might be... I can actually just pull up the wiki page here. My future me might edit that part out. I cannot see my desktop thingy, that's right. Let me just go to scenes. Display capture, thank you. Alright, there we are. Yeah, you can, by the way, the Wikipedia wiki page for Escape from Tarkov is your friend. If you really new to this game, you can just go to the Escape from Tarkov page or just Google Escape from Tarkov wiki. You just can go to the page. Now let's see, there is a health thingy. Yeah, here you see the different parts of the game and stuff. If you're very new, you just click through the stuff and there it is. I know it. Is that good? I don't know. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Now, like I said, you have those different parts of your body, and depending on what gets damaged, you have different... Oh yeah, that's cool. Never looked at that. You have different like impairments and stuff. Now the thing is, oh yeah, there it is. If your head or your thorax gets zeroed, which means if your enemy is using a round that's basically taken off your health in one shot. By the way, every round in the game, if you're not using a helmet, takes off your head. There's no round that doesn't do 35 damage, which means every single headshot is a one shot, unless you wear a helmet, of course. So meaning if one of those parts gets blacked out instantly, you're gonna lose. Other than that, let's say for example, if you're bleeding and you lose that part, it gets blacked out, you're not gonna die. Only if it's blacked out with an instant. Let's see, what does that say? I guess I'm gonna use the wiki, whatever. Yeah, okay, let's see. Now we can talk about the status effects, I guess. Yeah, let's see. You can get fractures, for example. You can have those by getting shot or on your legs if you jump from high ground. You can break your legs. Fracture does decrease your searching speed by 50%. That's actually cool, man. Like I said, always check out that wiki page. I recommend you having the wiki open on a second monitor or just alt tab. If there's something you don't know, just for example, if there's an item you don't know, just go prone, quickly go up to the search bar, and let's say, I don't know, if there's ammo type you don't know, just go to ammo. If you find, I don't know, just find that PRS round. Everybody thinks, oh, PRS, that's great. You know, PRS 7.62 ammo, and you're like, is that a good ammo? You go to 7.6 ammo. A little bit off topic right now, I know. And then you can check out the what's it called? The damage penetration value and stuff of the ammo, which is very good. So you can just throw it away. Wait, PRS isn't even 7.6. Sorry. PRS is 5.4, right? Whatever. Yeah, like I said, always use the wiki for quick. Yeah, PRS. I'm stupid. See, I've learned something already. If you find items you don't know the value of, just take a quick look at the wiki. Check it out. Yeah, okay, let's go back to health. Speaking of health, with point 12, there was the introduction of off-rate healing. By the way, the best item to heal your hit points out of rate is the car med kit. It's the best value for that, because you get for 6k rubles, you get the 220. The cheese, what we call it, is only 3,000, which means you pay more for 2 cheeses than for 1 car med kit. So that's the best value for that. The different items for regenerating your health. Let's say you have parts that are missing health. You have the item that only restores health, doesn't do anything else. The radiation thing is not in the game, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can just press the button, or if you're in the raid, in the menu, just put right click and then use. The AI is gonna... does it? I don't know. I think it will heal the limb that is the most damaged first, which means if you have a bleed on your right arm but the left arm is damaged more, it will cure the left arm first and then the right arm. For a car med kit or a IFAC or Salua, the ones that are combined, they cure HP and the blood loss. They will always go for the bleed first, I think. Which means, let's say you're bleeding on your right arm, but the right arm has like 40 HP. You're not gonna lose that so with the bleed. But your left arm only has like 2 HP. It's almost always better to use one of the AIs first for the fast heal and then cure the bleed. That way your limbs get not blacked out. Because if you have a bleed or too much damage, your limbs can black out, and then you have to use a CMS kit or survival kit to restore the health of those kits, of those limbs. there are items that cure bleeds only. They do not use, do not cure HP points. So if you have a bleed, the bleed is cured, but you're not gonna get any points back there. Now, for these items that cure bleeds and HP, you have to watch out that there's a certain amount that the car medkit, for example, has to have. Let's say you used it a lot. It only has 20 points out of 220. It will not cure a bleed, because that might happen in battle. You're like, damn it, dude, I had a car medkit. Why didn't it stop the bleeding? And you're going to bleed out. You lose a limb or whatever. It might have been because you didn't have enough points on it. It's the same for the Salua. It only needs 30. By the way, also a good tip for beginners. Let's say if you use a car medkit or Salua, whatever, to cure a bleed, that number of that needs to be used to cure the bleed will always be used, no matter if the HP points are actually that low or not. Which means, for example, if your left arm has a bleed, but it's at, let's say, 55 out of 60, the car medkit will still use its 40 HP to cure the left arm. So that means it's always nice to have a bandage or something else, the double bandage, whatever, to cure the bleed, because then you still keep your points on your healing mats just to cure the bleeds and stuff. Yeah, you have your painkillers. Those remove the effects of, let's say, a broken leg. If your legs are broken, you're very slow. You cannot sprint anymore. Your jump is very, very weak. And you can not cure it, but remove the pain. To cure the fracture, you have to use splints, for example. You can get those with 5 uses, or the ones that only have 1. I do have one of those, 2, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, these you can get those. I think you get those. You have a few if you start the game, so you don't have to worry about mats. That you can have those out of rate as well, the fractures. So you have to look out for that one. Yeah. Other than that, health status thingies. Yeah, if you cure a bleed, you're gonna get a fresh wound. Now that one can break open again. If you sprint around, if you get shot again, maybe. If you do a jump, that can start bleeding at. There it says 240 seconds until it starts bleeding again. So it means this status is gonna stay there for 240 seconds. Yeah, fracture, we had that. Now all this stuff is not too crazy. We have the dehydration, like I said. If your water gets below or to 0, you're gonna start losing health. Yeah, all this other stuff isn't too crazy. Like I said, I do recommend checking that wiki page for stuff like that as well. And let's go to the next point. Those will be your skills. Now, I do not want to get too much into that, because it's not something you want to pay attention too much to, because it's kind of confusing. There's a lot of way you can cheese that stuff, like leveling up the levels, the mastering, I don't know. Now, the only thing I want to say about that, if you level up all those skills at level 50, I think is max level, 50, 40, you get a certain skill, like a special skill, for example, for stress resistance. I know you get a thing that's called Berserk or something, Berserker, which, I don't know, reduces pain effects and stuff, but leveling that up to max within a normal gameplay time without, like I said, cheesing it or anything is pretty hard. All these skills do level up while you just play. Endurance, for example, increases when you're sprinting and stuff. Now, strength is something... Actually, let's use the Wikipedia page again, because there are a few skills now you need to level up, actually, for the hideout. Yeah, perfect. Like I said, this page is crazy good. There you see what you need for the hideout, by the way. Just check that out. Now, the thing you wanna, if you wanna max out your hideout, by the way, if that is something you wanna do, The skills you need to level up for the hideout are, for example, endurance level 2. That's easy to get. Strength level 4. Now strength always increases when you're striking with a melee weapon, when you're running with 90% of your maximum weight, I think. Yes, like when you're sprinting, that means if you're in a raid and you have a lot of gear on you, you can just simply check that number down there. For example, now I'm way over my weight limit, which means if I would be sprinting right now, I would get a lot of strength points. But that number must be 90% of your maximum to get the strength leveling going. And what else do we have? Vitality, that's just something that levels up with like, for example, healing and stuff, or getting shot, basically, I think. Health is something that you level up by taking meds and stuff. Metabolism is something very good to level up. You need it for your hideout as well. That is basically the ratio I talked about before, which is gonna decrease your dehydration and energy. So if you level up your metabolism, that number is gonna go down. Not this one, because if you're in raid, there's a number that goes down. It's a tick rate basically, and if you level up your metabolism, that tick rate is gonna be lower. Leveling up your metabolism, you just have to basically just eat all the food and drink all the drinks you find in raid, because that's just gonna level up your stuff. But take care, there is food, for example, that does give you a minus on hydration. Now, do keep in mind, if you, for example, would chuck down that pack of sugar, you wanna get would get 70 energy, but it would have a loss of 45 hydration, meaning that you have to drink something after eating that. Yeah. Other than that, memory, attention, you level that up by just searching stuff. That's gonna be easy. Memory is, how is that level? I think memory is leveled through just and like I said, metabolism, eating, drinking, that's all you need to level up. Now all the other stuff, I don't really want to get into that. That's way too complicated, not that crazy. Now for map, there's nothing. Tasks, you have your overview of the task you have active. Now I don't think that is used too often. I don't know, because you have to click on it and you don't really see it. The way I do it is just click on the trader and just check the tasks. And yeah, that brings us basically to our next point, the trading. So if you click on that button, you're gonna get to this screen where you have all your dealers. You have your flea market. Now, like I said, flea market is locked until you're level 5. You cannot buy or sell anything from the flea market. Yeah. Now, when you start your game new, you have all these items and you can research them. They're all blacked out because you have no idea what this stuff is. Now, researching items you do by basically clicking them with your middle mouse button. And they're just gonna appear, and you can double click them. Before that, you cannot do anything with them. Now, I would recommend to at least clear out all the weapons and maybe ammo and stuff, so you can, or the bags and stuff, because if you do not research them or search them, at least you cannot chuck them on in raid very quick. You have to examine them first to get all the stuff going. And yeah, what you also can see here is the sell option, where you can just simply drag stuff in there. Or, by the way, if you click the right button on the item, it's gonna go back, or you hold control and push all the items in there you want. Then you click deal and it's done. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You go into your tasks, and when you start your game, you basically want to go through all the dealers and accept all the tasks you can. Now I think when you start, there's only the proper tasks and the therapist that have a task, but basically every time you do a quest, you level up and stuff, you want to check all the dealers for new quests and see if there's something new to do for you. Yeah, basically here you can check what you need to do. Again, the wiki page is your friend. For example, if you say, what the hell, skier wants me to do Lend-Lease, whatever that is, you have that quest active, go onto your wiki page, you just go up here, you type in the name of the quest, it already gets prompted up, and it tells you what to do. It tells you exactly, let's say if there's a requirement for keys and stuff, like for this one, tells you where to go, what to do, whatever. So you can basically look at that. But yeah, there's also a page on the wiki thingy where it shows you all the quest items you need, like this one. That's something very important. So if you're very new to the game, you can check this list, memorize it a little bit, or just have it open on the second screen. Like I said before, these items have to be kept for quests. Now, if they're green like that, that means they have to be found in raid, which means you cannot buy them from the flea market. All the other stuff without the green background can just bought off the flea market and just be handed in. Yeah, that's a nice little list. That is always good. But yeah, other than that, tasks. For tasks, you do get rewards, of course. You get XP, you get reputation, which is this number up here. Now, the way you level up those dealers is basically by leveling your account up, handing in items or buying items, which means to get this number up. So that is the amount you have spent, which means you sold or bought stuff from these dealers. Now, that's basically the only thing I cheese a little bit in this game. If you want to check out my previous flea market guide, that's a way to increase that number, because that's basically the only thing that is weird to get if you're new to this game, because you have to buy a lot and sell a lot. That's why I always recommend for level 1 buying those 2 items from Ragman, because they are new now. You used to be not able to buy body armor level 1. Always buy, like, at least buy these 3 items for your kit, and you level up that number for Ragman, because he's pretty much, yeah, I would say he's the hardest to level up, like money wise for the dealers. Other than that, you will get the numbers up. Proper, you basically sell to him like weapon parts, ammo and stuff. Therapist, she gets all the valuables, keys, meds, food, drinks. Fence, basically you can sell only, I don't know, melee weapons, for example, but you shouldn't sell anything to the fence, because he only gives a fraction of what you what you could get. Skier, you sell weapon parts to him. Now you can also give him rigs and body armor, but at the beginning I would give those to Ragman. You do get a little bit less, but like I said, you have to get the reputation up. Peacekeeper takes basically weapon parts, whole weapons, ammo again, but he does give you doesn't give you rubles, he does give you dollarinos. Mechanic, again, weapons, weapon parts, ammo. Ragman, like I said before, basically gear. He takes clothes and stuff as well, face masks. Now Jaeger takes weapon parts, weapons. He takes a lot too. He's not that hard to get up with the money, because you can buy task items and stuff as well. The thing is, his reputation is very hard to get up, because his reputation is basically lowered by other tasks a lot, which I find pretty weird, because it's a pain in the ass getting the reputation up for him, which you can see I'm not even at level 2 for him, because I can't get that number because his quests are so weird. But yeah, now you might be asking what dealer to level up first. Basically, like I said, if you're in a standard account especially, you want to get Therapist up to level 2 as quick as possible. Now that is level 13, your account level, and 400k spent, which is pretty easy to get in my opinion. That unlocks the scav. Ooh, they upped the numbers on that one. It used to be only 1 mil or something. Yep, nowadays actually, if you're level 5 already, this scav charm box, for example, might be cheaper on the flea market. Yeah, always check the flea market for, like, if you want to buy a weapons grade or something, check the prices there. Like I said, a therapist first, I guess. Let's see. Basically, what you can do here, if you want to see what trader to go to level first, go to that wiki page again, and there you can check out the dealers. If you click on one of them, it shows you what items to get for level 1, level 2, level 4. Level 2, level 3, level 4, of course. There you can decide what you want, what you prefer. Like if you want some AKs or something, you would level up Prepper first. Now I do think Mechanic gives the weapons grade at level 2, which means you could prefer that, although you do get the crates and stuff on the flea market as well. So, but yeah, like I said, do check those wiki pages and see what you want to level up first. Like I said, Therapist, pretty basic to me. That decision is pretty easy. Other than that, what you want to level up first is totally up to you. And yeah, that's it for the trading dealers. Now we have covered the trading. Let's go on the hideout. If you press the hideout button, you're gonna enter your hideout. Now mine is already a little bit upgraded, of course, when you enter that screen for the first time. By the way you navigate through here is simply either by pressing your WASD buttons, or you can also click and hold down here to enter your different areas. But you can also go to the top of the screen, click that enter button, which pulls you into your hideout physically, and you can just run around here. Now unfortunately my generator has no fuel in it, which means it's gonna have no light in it. You can go up to your different areas. By the way, they do change their appearance if you upgrade them, which is very nice. Do start with a bucket or something. Here, for example, you can enter those different sections, and you can, for example, here in the laboratory, you can craft stuff. Now, for example, your workbench does, like I mentioned before, enable you to do those weapon presets and does do the weapon modding. You have to have that on level 1. The shooting range, for example, isn't there at the beginning. You have to level that up. Here you can test out weapons without using any ammo. You can try out different... Now I do not have a full automatic version, but you can try out different attachments and stuff, see how the recoil feels. Like I said, no ammo is used. But yeah, you can just run around, see what it's there. Now, the thing is, if you want to go through and upgrade your hideout, basically, it's a nice addition to the game. It's a very RPG-ish thingy, and to me, it's very nice. It's basically a lot of money you're gonna push into that part of the game, which is very good. But it also gives a lot of benefits to your account, to your PMC, whatever. For example, the intelligence center reduces the cooldown of your scav. Now that's the NPC version of your playstyle, like I said before. It gives you an additional amount of quest money. It's actually, if you would upgrade that one, it always has requirements. So the parts of the hideout do influence each other. You have to, for example, here to be a mechanic. That's one of the dealers, has to be level 2. So you have to do his quests, have to level him up first. Like I said before, there's sometimes requirements for skills to have a certain level. And yeah, if I were to upgrade that part, my quest money would be increased by even more, and insurance returns time would be decreased. Now that is the time I said before. If you're if you were to insure your items and you get them back, you wouldn't have to wait like the 48 hours, but less. You can craft a lot in here. For some parts of the hideout, when you want to craft stuff, for example, for the workbench, you have to have the generator on, which you can do here, for example, but I do not have, like I said, any fuel. To get fuel into your generator, I would have to buy some, but like I said, I don't need it really. You can just, if you have some in your stash, you just click here and chose the fuel container. You can turn on lights and stuff. Now then again, you can try out the night vision, just go through and see what it looks like. Yeah, you can level up all these parts. Now there's a few that are very useful, like the med station, now because it increases the health regeneration out of raid, which means over the time you will not have to use as much of those car med kits, like I said, to get your health points up before the raid. The resting space does increase your energy regeneration and health regeneration also. So those are things that are very good to upgrade. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that basically gives you some points into regeneration and stuff. Now, there are some upgrades that give you physical strength. I'm not there yet. But like I said, it's nothing too crazy. It's not gonna, I don't know, get you over the top super advantage over other players. But it's a nice addition to the game. It's a kind of RPG thing to do. You can level up all that stuff. You need items to find, for example. If I wanted to upgrade that stuff, that's the stash. Basically, that means standard account users like me can get the EOD stash size as well, but what they have to do is dump a lot of money into it and items and stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's a nice addition to the game. It's something you don't have to work on because there's no tasks or anything progression bound to it, but I mean, it's something to do in the game and it's very fun. But yeah, and something that is good to know, stuff that you craft inside here is currently flagged as found in raid, because for example, there are some quests where you have to find items in raid, so you cannot just hand them over, like I said before. With the list from the wiki page, it showed you the green marked ones that are that have to be found in raid. If you craft something in the hideout, these are, for example, those Wilson cigarettes. They're pretty hard to find. You can't craft them right now in the where was it? I think the nutrition unit. Yeah, with Apollo cigarettes, Apollon cigarettes. They are very easy to find. And now you can buy that just from the flea market. You can craft 5 of those, and they will be flagged as found in raid, which means you can just craft these 2 times and give those 7 packs to mechanic. So that will be a quest done. But yeah, there's some things that you can craft, you can sell on the flea market. For example, the mag box, the magazine case, I think is still profitable, but I'm not sure. The hoses might not be because they dropped a lot in prices. But yeah, there's some things you can do here. Craft stuff, sell it. Like I said, these are needed for quests as well, for hideout upgrades. So yeah, it's stuff you can try out. Again, if there's things you don't know, just try out the wiki, type in the items, see if they are needed for quests. And yeah, that's it for the hideout, I'd say. Alright, now the gameplay part of the video. Basically just want to show you some tips and tricks you can use while being in your raid. like handling inventory stuff, stuff you want to check when you're in raid. For example, you make sure your meds are bound to your hotkeys, because you don't want to have those unbound within battle. Make sure that the weapons you have, for example, pressing the B button on the right corner down there, you can switch between the firing modes by pressing the B button. You press the right click to go into your ADSing. By holding the Alt button, you hold your breath, and holding Alt plus right clicking will change the way your sight looks. Now there are not all of those sights have this function, but it's something you can make use of if you want to. If not, now for example, check whether or not you have a laser on, if the laser is working, whatever. Like I said, I did rebind that button to my mouse. Normally it's on T. I was talking about the fast reload, because normally I didn't actually bring a mag for that one. If you were to reload your weapon, you would press the R button like this. It would just reload the mag. Now, if you have your mag inside of your scav backpack, I'm pressing the
I need some ammo.
R button right now, and he can't. That's why that voice line is prompting up. Now, what you can do is also reload that way, so you can just drag out the magazine. Or I think, yeah, if you press right click and reload, basically just doing the animation still. But if you do not have the weapon out, you want to reload, you can do the thing I said, the silence, reload, whatever. You can just do that like this, and we'll switch out your magazines instantly. And you can do that as well without having them inside of the rig or the pockets. Like I said, if you reload by pressing R, you have to do it with your they have to be inside the pockets of the rig. But if you do it that way, actually let me put out one bullet here so you can see they actually switch. You can reload from your backpack and your container as well. You can do it like that, like I said, right click reload, or if you're on your weapon menu, you just hold the control button and left click it, then it's in your inventory, and you can simply drag it in there and it's reloaded. Same thing, of course, with the other weapons. Now, Mosin and stuff, you can't do that because those have to be reloaded one by one. But yeah, that's a nice little trick. If you're in raid, you have to reload every bullet itself into magazines. Now, for some magazines it's faster, some it's slower, of course. And also the unloading of the ammo, like you already saw, it will take a lot of time to do that. But I mean, it's something necessary because you cannot take an endless amount of mags with you. Just do that. And yeah, the basic controls like moving and stuff, I didn't switch anything there. I wouldn't recommend doing that because the controls, the way they are pretty good actually, and should stay that way. Now, you lean Q and E, like PUBG for example. If you hold your left Alt button and press E, you can press E or Q. You can go around corners. You do not expose your whole body with that, but you just do a little lean. The other thing, you sprint with pressing your shift button once. Yeah, I mean, the controls aren't pretty hard in that game. They're pretty easy to go. You just get a grip of that. Now, the thing is, I want to talk about if you want to pick up weapons and stuff. Like I said, the discard button, I would highly recommend rebinding that one. This one, discard. Like I said, I have it on mouse 4. So yeah, if you want to get rid of some stuff in your inventory, you can just put the button you would have bound it to, like if you're in a normal raid, I'm an offline raid, of course, this screen would not prompt up. You would just get nothing. You would just drop the item. if you have stuff that is on the ground that you want to search, for example, if you want to, I'm just going to put it here. If you want to put stuff in your inventory, you would just hold Control and left click it, so it puts it in your inventory. Now, if it's a weapon, for example, you can hold Alt left and put the left click button, it puts it on your body. So that works for backpacks, for all the slots you can fill up here. So if you find a pistol, for example, you do not have a pistol on you, just hold Alt and left click, so it would put it on your body right now. If you would just hold Control and left click, it would put it in your inventory. That's a nice little trick, but yeah, other than that, controls, anything. Like I said, make sure that you have your meds bound. Make sure that your fire rate is set to whatever you like if you don't want to go full auto. Yeah, that's basically it. Now, when it comes to base gameplay, like basics and stuff, like tactics, how you want to approach players or scavs. The thing is, what you want to do is, like I am right now, you go into offline raids, just go around, do play with scavs, of course. Do get a hang of your weapon, like use only a few weapons, use them more often. Get a hang of the recoil and stuff, the handling. And yeah, just repeat over and over. Do not get discouraged if you die a lot. I can't exit this fucking offline mode right now. What the hell is going on? Do not get discouraged when you die a lot. And yeah, just keep playing. Now there's ways you can play this game. You can just go in and just try to get better with your aiming and stuff. Hope that you can out-aim everything. Scavs right now are pretty harsh. They can one-tap you pretty easy. So always take a little bit of gear with you. And yeah, sometimes you just need to be sneaky or just get out of a fight. And it's better sometimes to run just to take the fight. Keep that in mind. But yeah, that's it for my guide. If you have any questions, suggestions, what else I could talk about for beginners, I'm gladly taking that advice, making a new video about it, whatever. Yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. Hope it was a little bit helpful. If you enjoyed that video or videos like that, drop a like. Or not. If you didn't like it, and yeah, like I said, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. See ya.